last 10 years, I think I've been, trying to find the best cameras in the world, basically. The whole industry has anticipated Canon's next move into cinematography. Now they have come out with, I think, their first real motion picture camera. I like having a lot of creative options.
Come on, let's get the ball.
I like having everything from a big system to a very small portable system like this. And I think that this camera can reach both ends of that spectrum, which is very unusual. That's a cut, and I think we got the final shot. Very nice.
XXIT is a piece about a replicant from the future that comes back to save her human person in the past that her DNA was cloned from.
I've got to get you out of here.
Out of here? What do you mean?
We took 6 of these to San Francisco with us, which was a lot of fun.
My first reaction was, well, it looks like kind of a newer Hasselblad. I liked it a lot. It's very light, very small. Fits my hands really easy.
What I've found as a director using this camera is because of the size and the fluidity of using it, it's much less obtrusive with the actors.
Wait!
It's like a SWAT team approach as opposed to the big army.
I was amazed that we didn't gather more crowds than we did. It was pretty easy to pass it off as a documentary or a student film because there wasn't this huge monster crew with big lights and all that kind of thing,
We could shoot with 4 cameras on a cable car with the whole crew on the cable car as well. Plus hair, plus sound, plus makeup, plus 20 extras. And these were great for that because they're very sensitive. So we had minimal lighting.
Some of the stuff we were lighting with flashlights and stuff. Even just throwing filters over the natural trolley lights.
The back kick off a filter, you suddenly see it. You see things that you never saw before in the frame. And so suddenly you're thinking, wow, I've never seen the back kick off a filter, but then again, I've never shot at 16,000 either.
The bike-to-bike sequence was something that really came about after we started prepping with the cameras and figuring out, well, look how light we can make this package. What if we rigged it to a motorcycle and was filming another motorcycle in front of it?
Awesome lens, awesome. 8 to 15 in the palm of your hand. And you can throw it on your camera and you can be up and running that fast. For visual effects, we need very high quality imaging. Because the signal-to-noise ratio of the camera is so quiet and the compression is so good, it works very well for green screen.
From first impression, seeing the size of the body, seeing the layout, the way that it functions, I was very impressed. Everything was simple, easy to use. Everything that I needed was close. It was where it should be.
When you put a wireless transmitter on this, your ACs generally have, an Android or an iPhone, and then they can all log on to the camera. All of a sudden, everyone is in control. I think you can do it air to air, car to car. This is up on a crane and you wireless, We're talking about focus, iris, all the color temperature, all the NDs, all the speeds, anything that you can do in here is in the palm of your hand with an iPad. Action.
We at Stargate are huge proponents of the virtual set, what it offers and where it's going. The cost of building this set, I imagine, it's got to be a lot less expensive than building a real set. We can fly in a whole new set in a matter of minutes. Really, the only limitation is our imagination.
What we're doing is we're recording 2 CF cards, so we have the primary green screen and the backup on board, and then we're taking the HDSDI out to our compositing system.
The ability to have a backup on board where you're recording to not 1 but 2 CF cards at the same time gives us a lot of peace of mind. We're always concerned about losing data.
Action. In terms of visual effects, the benchmark has really become what can you do in real time?
We have a set that's basically tracked. There are markers on the ceiling, there is an origin on the floor, and we have a one-to-one between that world on the stage and our virtual world on our 3D models.
And action.
With the naked eye, you see a green screen with people walking against green. On the monitors, though, you see a real-time composite of our virtual world.
You can see your product while you're shooting it in a green screen environment.
Cut. We got it. Between the last one.
And that, for us, in the virtual backlot, is essential.
And that's just a dummy image. That's just what they put there is just a prototype of what it's going to look like. The foundation from which they'll build, and that looked awesome.
Sam was actually able to edit with all of our pre-comps, the real-time comped images that we did, so that he doesn't have to edit with grain. And those are all time code matched to our camera masters, which are just grain.
The workflow is pretty simple. We wanted to keep everything native as shot. It was extremely important. Since we were a Final Cut house here, I just had to go to the Canon website and get the plugin. It took minutes, basically, and then able to log and transfer the MXL files directly into Final Cut, and it reads it natively. There's no compression issues. It plays fine, plays smoothly. What you see is exactly what was shot. As far as the future world compared to the real world is right out of camera natively, done in Final Cut. Futuristic world is brought up to the artist in Cineform, where they deal with it in After Effects.
Having wrapped principal photography, we're now back in the digital realm to add all of the props, the cars, the actors, the buildings, the environment, and all the visual effects that we couldn't do in principal photography.
This camera gets my full recommendation. It's a beautiful camera, takes great pictures. The green screen VFX shots were seamless. There was no artifacts at all. We've put some pretty extreme looks on this and nothing's broken up. 422 is very clean. You can key it very easily. For secondary color corrections, not an issue.
Canon set up a ground plane here and a basis for what I think will become, in many ways, is the most integrated camera available today.
I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of things.
It's like a whole new chapter in cinematography.